Are you looking for a healthy, homemade alternative to costly probiotic supplements or ineffective additive-filled yogurt? In this short tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the absolute best yogurt for dogs that is all natural and tailor-made for your unique dog. This is no generic yogurt either. It's a power-packed probiotic supplement that can likely take the place of the costly supplements you are currently buying. We will be making two recipes today, one that is dairy-free and one that is dairy-based using half and half. Both are super easy. If you would like to grab a free printable card for either of these recipes, head on over to my blog, bigdogmom.com. The link is in the description below. In that blog post, I've also included a great deal more information about probiotics for dogs, including a list of the best bacteria strains for dogs and how to use them in fermenting yogurt, answers to some of the most frequently asked questions I get about probiotics for dogs, and my top 5 tips for how to get the most from your probiotics, and this yogurt in particular, to optimize your dog's health. Since 80% of your dog's immune system is based in his gut, this is a topic you are definitely going to want to pay attention to. If you are new here, my name is Stephanie, aka Big Dog Mom, and on this channel I provide information and resources to help you and your big dog live your best life together. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. For both of the recipes I'm going to show you, you will need a yogurt maker. I really love this one that I purchased on Amazon. The size is perfect for small batches of yogurt and is very easy to set and maintain a steady temperature throughout fermentation. You might be wondering if you can use an Instant Pot for this, since most Instant Pots have a yogurt setting. I would recommend against using an Instant Pot for these recipes, since our goal is to cultivate very specific bacteria that need specific temperatures to grow. Most Instant Pots will incubate yogurt for up to 24 hours at a range of 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Not only is this not long enough, it's actually too hot and will kill many of the strains we want to grow. So for those reasons, I recommend investing $30 to $50 in a yogurt maker. I make yogurt for myself every week, so mine is in use almost around the clock. In addition to the yogurt maker, I use this Pyrex glass measuring cup for the dairy-based yogurt I will show you in a few minutes. And then a whisk and a temperature probe are the only other tools you will need. I should also mention that both of these recipes are modified variations of the yogurts recommended in Supergut by William Davis that I have been making for myself for over a year. If you have ever struggled with any gut issues, I highly recommend picking up this book. So let's start with the dairy-free, gluten-free yogurt for dogs recipe, since this one is a little more involved. Okay, for this recipe, I am using 2 13.5-ounce cans of coconut milk. Choose a milk that is free of thickeners or mixing agents like xanthan gum, as these will cause your yogurt to separate after fermentation. Coconut milk is an incredibly nutritious, non-dairy milk alternative that provides immune system support, healthy fats, and anti-inflammatory properties, which can improve the texture of your dog's skin and coat. Okay, so let's shake these up and add both in a saucepan. We need to heat the coconut milk to approximately 180 degrees Fahrenheit or until it starts to boil. Now remove from the heat and let it cool. Now we need to add 3 ingredients. 1.5 teaspoons of guar gum. Guar gum is a non-digestible soluble fiber that is often used as a thickening agent and stabilizer. While it is used in commercial wet and dry pet food and touted for its health benefits, there will be little to none left in the yogurt after fermentation. We're going to add 4 tablespoons of sugar. This is added as food for the bacteria. Next to none will be left when the yogurt is done fermenting. I just use regular old granulated sugar. And 2 tablespoons of raw potato starch. Potato starch is a prebiotic fiber, or food for the bacteria, that is used in combination with the guar gum thickener to keep the coconut milk from separating into water and oil. You can substitute inulin, which is this, inulin for raw potato starch in some yogurt recipes. However, many bacteria, specifically Bifidobacterium, prefer raw potato starch, making it a good staple in your kitchen. After you add the guar gum, sugar, and raw potato starch, you want to blend or whisk briskly for 1 minute until it has thickened to the consistency of heavy cream. This will take a few minutes depending on the temperature of the coconut milk. The warmer it is, the thinner it will be. So you just want to keep whisking. You need to cool the entire mixture to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit or roughly room temperature. You may want to continue to stir this for faster cooling. While we are waiting for this to cool down, let's talk about the cultures we are going to be adding. Again, there is so much more information about this in the blog post, so please be sure to consult that before you make these recipes. The link to that, as well as the links to everything we are using in the kitchen today, are in the description box below. You may be aware of a term called microbiome when referring to our dog's gut. The microbiome is the collection of all the bacteria, fungi, viruses, and their genes that reside in the gut naturally. These microbes have some very important jobs, such as metabolism, protecting against pathogens, educating the immune system, and through these basic functions affect directly or indirectly most physiologic functions of the body. In fact, 70 to 80% of our dog's immune system is based in the gut. Not only is that a tall order for these microscopic bugs, when you consider how many trillions of them live in your dog's gut naturally, the handful of soldiers you are sending down in your spoonful of store-bought Dannon yogurt won't even be noticed and will most likely die in transit. It's all about numbers and strains when it comes to probiotics. Your goal should be to support the volume and diversity of gut flora so that collectively it can carry out all of the essential functions of optimal health and defend against evil invaders. This is where my homemade yogurt for dogs comes in. Our goal is to select certain strains of bacteria based on their unique properties in order to customize the benefits our dog gets from their fermented yogurt product. This is where you can have some fun depending on your dog's health, microbiome gaps, or other nutritional needs you want to address. Again, I cover 12 of the top dog-friendly bacteria strains in much more detail in the blog post. The primary probiotics or bacteria that I use are Lactobacillus rhodori, Bacillus coagulans, various Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium strains in a mixed culture, and Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a yeast. I am not going to add all of these to a single batch of yogurt, but you could if you wanted to. To the dairy-free yogurt, I'm going to add Lactobacillus rhodori. The strain I'm using is ATCC PTA 6475. The link to this will be in the description below. L. rhodori has many benefits for us and our dogs. It inhibits the growth of pathogenic bacteria, supports the production of natural antibiotic-like substances called bacteriocins, making it a critical solution to bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine, or SIBO. It is excellent for dogs fighting infections and recovering from antibiotics and providing immune support. And it releases the hormone oxytocin from the brain with a strong link to the gut-brain connection, with some strong evidence that it can reduce anxiety and stress and improve skin healing and hair growth. L. rhodori comes as little tablets that you have to crush before adding to your liquid culture. I just do this with a plastic baggie and a mallet. In addition to L. rhodori, I'm going to be adding Bacillus coagulans, strain GBI 306086. Again, link to this in the description. Bacillus coagulans is a spore-forming lactic acid-producing bacteria known for its ability to crowd out unfriendly bacteria and reduce inflammation in the digestive tract. It is very resistant to stomach acids and is excellent for dogs with allergies. It is often used as a treatment of inflammatory digestive diseases such as IBS and small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO, diarrhea, C. difficile infections, and in some studies, arthritis and athletic recovery. It is a powerhouse for sure. And lastly, I'm going to add Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a yeast. I have been giving Sully and Junior, before we lost him, the probiotic Saccharomyces boulardii supplement Daily Dog for a couple of years, and even take a human version of the Saccharomyces boulardii myself. When I started making homemade yogurt for the boys, I wondered what benefit, if any, would adding some Saccharomyces boulardii have on its taste, texture, and overall health benefits. One of the research studies I found investigated bacteria fermented yogurt with and without S. boulardii and found that the S. boulardii improved the survivability of the bacterial starter culture. In other words, it's helpful for the bacterial culture you are using in your yogurt to have the Saccharomyces boulardii present, even if in very small amounts. Since Saccharomyces boulardii does not colonize in the gastrointestinal tract and is gone within a few days, I like to keep it on board both in the daily dog probiotic supplement and as an added culture in my homemade yogurt to discourage the proliferation of other fungal species and to support beneficial microbes. If you would like to learn so much more about this amazing little yeast and gut health, I will link above and down below the most fascinating interview I did with the co-founder of Full Bucket Health, Dr. Rob Franklin, board-certified internal medicine specialist veterinarian. It's a must-watch. Okay. We should be good on our temperature here. We want it to be at or below 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Once to temp, you will add in each of the cultures you want to use. If this is a first batch, you will follow what I'm doing here. Once you have made an initial batch of yogurt, you can use 2 to 3 tablespoons of that to inoculate your next batch without adding new cultures. You can repeat this process 3 to 4 times before starting over with a new culture. Now mix in your bacteria and or yeast cultures. Just pour in 10 crushed L. reuteri tablets and open up 1 Bacillus coagulans and 1 Saccharomyces boulardii and pour those in. Stir to make sure they are evenly mixed through. Once thoroughly mixed, you want to pour this cultured liquid into little glass yogurt jars to approximately 3/4 full and cover with plastic lids. If you don't have enough culture to fill 8 jars, I always fill the extra jars with some water to help with the temperature regulation in the yogurt maker. I don't actually know if this makes any difference, but this is how I do it. So now you will place your yogurt jars in the yogurt maker and fill the trough with about 1 inch of water. As I set up for the next recipe, here are a couple of additional things you should know. The temperature we are fermenting our yogurts are very specific for the strain of bacteria we are using. Each one has a different temperature for their optimal growth. Just like you and I come alive at different temperatures, our microbes do as well. For your convenience, I've included a table of optimal fermentation temperatures and times for the 12 dog-friendly probiotics, as well as the temperatures that will kill them in the blog post linked below. If you are wondering how much of these yogurts you can feed your dog, great question. Feeding amounts are going to vary, but in general, I would recommend the following dosages for the average healthy dog. For small to medium-sized dogs, 1 to 2 spoonfuls, with puppies getting about 1 tablespoon. For large and giant breed dogs, you can give up to 1/4 to 1/2 cup, with puppies getting 2 to 3 tablespoons. The fermentation times on my homemade yogurt recipes are such that even with only a spoonful or 2 of yogurt, the number of soldiers that you will be adding to your dog's GI force will be in the 60 to 100 billion per 1/2 cup serving if making a mixed culture. If you are making a monoculture yogurt, so just 1 strain of bacteria or Saccharomyces boulardii, the numbers will be more on the order of a few 100 billion per 1/2 cup, since they won't be competing with the other strains for resources. Ideally, you will want to feed this yogurt 30 minutes before or during your dog's first meal of the day. While the timing won't matter at all for the Saccharomyces boulardii, the other bacteria can be quite sensitive to your dog's very acidic stomach acids that are produced during digestion. It's better to provide the probiotic before a meal to ensure maximum viability in the gut. I have included some additional details about how and when to feed probiotic yogurt to dogs, as well as what to do if your dog is on an antibiotic in the blog post linked below. I told you there was a lot in there. If you are getting value from this video, would you do me a favor and hit that like button? And if you currently have a big dog, or you just want one, I would love to welcome you into our growing community of big dog lovers by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Okay, let's move on to the dairy-based yogurt recipe. This one is super simple to make. While some dogs can experience digestive upset when consuming dairy products due to a condition called lactose intolerance, most dogs do just fine when dairy is consumed in moderation. Additionally, when milk and milk derivative products are fermented, the actual amount of lactose that remains drops significantly, allowing the consumption even in dogs who are lactose intolerant. For this recipe, you want to get out a clean Pyrex glass measuring cup or something similar and add 2 tablespoons of raw potato starch or inulin. Add to this either 2 tablespoons of previously made yogurt or selected cultures as described earlier. Today I'm going to add my Saccharomyces boulardii and a mixed culture of Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, among other beneficial bacteria. Lactobacillus, particularly Lactobacillus acidophilus, are present in nearly all probiotic supplements due to their ability to cling to the intestinal wall and kill pathogenic bacteria. While a terrific addition to any probiotic, it is not strong enough on its own, which is why it's often combined with other strains. Benefits of lactobacillus include treatment for constipation, diarrhea, allergic dermatitis, and other skin and coat conditions, increasing nutrient uptake and preventing food poisoning. Bifidobacterium are a lactic acid bacteria in the Lactobacillus family that have some similar benefits, including the treatment of acute diarrhea and improving symptoms of IBS, including abdominal pain, inflammation, gas, and bloating. Many strains of Bifidobacterium produce water-soluble B vitamins, among other health benefits. So just like we did before, we are going to open our capsule of Saccharomyces boulardii and then pour the mixture in the mixed culture. Add a little of the half and half and use a whisk to thoroughly mix the culture and fiber so that there are no clumps, and then add in the rest of the half and half and whisk again. Now pour your liquid culture into the small glass yogurt jars about 3/4 of the way full, place the lids on, and fill the yogurt maker with a bath of about 1 inch of water, just like we did earlier. This time, set your yogurt maker to ferment at 100 degrees for 36 hours. And that's it. I will include some B-roll clips of the finished yogurts so you can see what they look like when they are done. Don't worry if you see some separation of the whey in your first batch. It's 100% fine and perfectly edible. When you take 2 to 3 tablespoons from this first batch to inoculate your second batch, you will notice a much smoother, more even consistency. I will usually make 4 to 5 batches before starting over with a fresh new culture, which helps extend the shelf life of the bacteria strains you purchase. You can feed this homemade yogurt with a balanced raw diet or with commercial kibble in the dosages I mentioned a few minutes ago. I simply prep Sully's raw food like normal and give him about half of a jar of yogurt per meal on the days I don't feed the daily dog. Each jar contains about 2/3 of a cup of yogurt, so it works out to be about 1/3 of a cup of homemade yogurt for a 200-pound Mastiff. Since it is being fed more as a supplement than a significant portion of Sully's daily caloric needs, I don't factor it in when putting together his raw meals. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about making homemade yogurt for dogs or gut health and probiotic supplementation, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you are giving for probiotics, or if you've ever made yogurt for your dogs as well. I have been making similar yogurts for myself for over a year, and I've never felt better. I would love to hear your experience in the comments below. And with that, thank you so much for watching to the end, and we will see you in our next video. Bye for now.